How is it going, love? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alyse and I share videos about my life and mostly about mindset, confidence, communication, relationships, health, well-being. So much goodness here. So if you're new and you resonate with those topics, be sure to hit the red subscribe button down below, click the little bell, turn on the notifications. That way you will not miss future videos. Today I want to welcome you to my bedroom. I think this may be the first video that I've shared in this bedroom. I am so excited today because this is the first time in a long time that I'm going to be sharing a little life update and also smushed and mushed with a Q&A video. So I asked you guys on Instagram a few days ago what questions you have for me about my personal life, my mindset, what's shifted since the last time I shared a life update and Q&A. And I really loved your questions. So I pulled out the top 20 to 25 questions. I'm gonna try and get through as many of them as I can. And yeah, I wanna preface this video just by saying that this past year, I'm sure also for you, has been really, really intense for me. And I feel like I've kind of withdrawn a little bit. I feel like I've been just a little bit less like out and open on social media and just have really spent a lot of time working on myself behind the scenes. And I just want to say thank you so much for your patience, especially if you've been here for a while and have kind of noticed me pull back a little bit and just not share as much of my personal life like in vlogs and videos like this. I want to say thank you so much for understanding that I'm human, and it's been really, really helpful and healthy, rather, and proactive for me to just take time to be a little less on the forefront. So thank you so much for being here. I know so many of you watching this right now have been here for 4 years or 5 years since my channel kind of exploded from my dreadlock video. And yeah, if you're new here, I also want to thank you so much for being here, being present with me for this video in particular. Q&A and life update videos are my personal favorite videos of other people to watch on YouTube, so if you also love these, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That way I know to record more videos like this one. I'm here, I'm back, I'm ready to be open like a book and just share some updates with you. So let's get into it. So I tried to organize these in an order that would make sense for me to respond to them. So the first question is by Christine, and she asked, what are the things that are currently bringing you the most joy in your life? This is my son, Silo Nelson. He's a mini golden doodle. And he's currently, you licking my ear? Silo is currently one of the things that is bringing me the most joy in my life. He's very intuitive and very sweet. He always knows when it's time to cuddle, when something's going wrong, when I'm having a bad day, he's always there. And also when I'm having a good day, he's always there. Also, another thing is my social life, my friendships, my relationship with Luke. I just feel really, really fulfilled in all relationships right now. It's bringing me so much joy. Another thing that is definitely bringing me a lot of joy right now in my life is my team. The girls that I'm working with, Ellie and Margot, actually are both individuals who have been a part of past retreats that I've hosted a couple of years back, and through a really beautiful stream of events, they are now working with me and just so on board with this mission. And I'm loving working with a team of ladies who just feel like a fuck yes and like team players and just really want to see all of this grow and contribute positively, make a positive impact in the world. So that is, those are probably the top 3 right now. Okay, the next question is from Alexandria, and she asked, what has changed the most about you in the past year? Okay, the past year, I would say what has changed the most about me is that I feel like I am definitely more balanced, more spontaneous, and more present than ever before. In the past, I've definitely taken on more of like a black and white nature, and like it's gonna be this way or it's gonna be that way. It's gonna be all out or it's gonna be all in, and I kind of like embraced that within myself. This past year has been all about deconstructing that, letting that crumble, and just seeing what is underneath, which has been a really beautiful process. Next question is by Stone versus Vindman, and they asked, how do you like having roommates versus living alone? Really, really good question. So my current roommates, Rachel and Sam, are 2 of my closest friends, and living with them has been such a freaking like beautiful, fulfilling time so far. we're just always here for each other, and love talking through things with each other, working through current obstacles in our personal lives. Like, it just feels so rich and healthy to be living with both Rachel and Sam right now. And our house, luckily, is really like spacious and separate. So like we all have our own little nooks of the home, and it never feels like we're walking on top of each other. And even when we have friends over or I have Luke over, like it never feels like there's too many people in the house. So honestly, every part about this living environment at this point in time feels amazing. Okay, next question is by Mermaid G216, and they asked, what is your favorite video that you've made so far on your channel? My favorite video is actually my 1 hour long video where it was like a completely one take wonder. It was a video that I filmed that was kind of like a follow-up on everyone's responses to my I'm no longer vegan video. I basically sit down in one place for 1 hour and just share everything that is on my mind and like my honest responses, my genuine feelings towards everything. And it's my favorite video because it's just so real. Like there's no editing. It's just like, this is me, here I am talking about the things. Okay, next question is by Sparkle and Grow, and they asked, are you an alien? Am I an alien? First of all, I love the fact that you asked this question. I kind of believe that we are all aliens in certain ways. I'm not going to go in deep to that, but I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Next question is by Katrina Spangenberg, and they asked, how do you keep fit consistently? Food/workout, does your weight fluctuate? Good question. I'm a pretty petite person, so my weight kind of fluctuates within like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 pounds during different seasons of my life, depending on if I have more muscle on my body, depending how I'm eating, working out, all of that. Kind of crazy to say this out loud, but for the past 7 years, I have been working out, like lifting weights, and for the past 2 to 2.5 months, I have not been working out consistently. So this is like the first time ever that I've gone this long without being consistent in the gym. I feel like I said earlier, this year has so much been letting go of like all in mentality, and I'm just giving myself permission to be a little more sedentary, to take walks outside, to just kind of switch things up a little bit. Just really letting that certain identity of like latching on to like, I have to do this, letting that slip away and letting it just come more from a place of intuition. Like, I love my body so much, I want to do this today, and I just haven't felt inspired. So today is this is a rare season in my life where I'm actually not being incredibly consistent with my fitness. As far as like managing my physique and staying fit, my body's definitely changed. My physique has definitely like been different since I haven't been working out, but I just do my best to stay hydrated and also to really be conscious of the food that I'm eating. Not eating when I'm not hungry, just eating things that are feeling good, that I'm actually feeling like are nourishing my body. So yeah, intuitive eating for the win, and hydration, sleep, and yeah, just listening to my body. Okay, next question is by Living Satisfied, and they asked, who all is a part of your business? How many employees do you have now? So right now my team is really lean and small. I'm currently working with myself. I'm kind of like the visionary. I create all the content, the videos, the emails, all the things. And then I'm also working with Ellie, who is more of like the techie integrator side. So she'll take a lot of the things that I create and just make sense of it all in the back end. She has a really like analytical, structured mind, and just kind of is that other piece to my puzzle piece. And then Margot recently came on board, and she helps a lot with admin tasks, a lot with feeding through emails. So like when people reach out for brand collaboration, she like feeds out 99% of those and then shares like the 1% with me that's a potential to work with. She helps me within Confidence Mastery, just keep track of all of our students, make sure everybody is filling out their accountability form, and just make sure that's a freaking amazing experience for them. So yeah, that is my small little amazing team right now. Okay, next question is by Alyse Mueller, and she said, what do you do when you feel overwhelmed? When I feel overwhelmed, I pause for a second. Sometimes I just keep going and going, and then I reach a point where I'm like, whoa, I'm really overwhelmed. But I try to be really in tune with myself, and when I feel a little bit overwhelmed, I pause and I ask myself, like, what's currently going on that feels overwhelming? And if it's that I'm working a lot, I'm in front of a screen a lot, or something's up in a relationship or a friendship or my physical health, whatever it may be, I pause and I really evaluate, like, what's going on here, and I take a look at exactly what it is. And then I ask myself, okay, what can I do to give love to this area of my life? What can I do to kind of find peace in this area? And then I execute. So next question is by whiiile, and they said, do you still thrive on set routines, or do you enjoy more spontaneity these days, or is it a balance? So yeah, I've kind of answered this a little bit in other questions. I don't know, I feel like it's a mixture. Definitely not as regimented as I have been in the past. I've been loosening up, grip on that, like sleeping in later, like staying out later, just more flowy. But there's kind of like a window of like what feels good for me, so I try my best to honor that. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty balanced. Next question is by Rachel Troutman, and she said, we know that you like to try new things to understand others. What do you do to better understand yourself? Oh, I love this question so much. So yeah, you guys know I love challenging myself, like doing 30-day challenges or just diving in and experiencing new things. That definitely helps me understand other people. But throughout those processes, I'm also learning so much about myself. I'm learning, do I jive with this? Does this resonate with me? Is this something that I can extract a learning experience from and a lesson from, and like still carry out part of this in my life? Like, there's so much learning about myself in any challenges that I pursue. I also learn a lot about myself within my relationships. Just the nature of being in a relationship with a significant other and friendships, I learned so much about the way that I'm showing up in that like close-knit dynamic. Yeah, and I also just really tried to keep like a bird's eye view of my own life. I tried to not get too lost in my individual experience, but kind of take a look at like, hey, how am I doing? Like every week, every few days, I'll check in with myself and be like, how am I doing? Am I showing up the way that I want to? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Like what's up? So yeah, I definitely observe myself and learn about myself through that. Okay, next question is by Vimplum, and they asked, what was the hardest part of your entrepreneurial journey? Hardest part of my entrepreneurial journey. I think honestly, this past year for me has probably been the toughest, because all years leading up to this year, I was so focused on my business, on creating, on growing this, on making this sustainable and abundant and making an impact. And this past year has just been way more heavily focused on myself outside of my business. And I know that my business is an extension of me. And so when I work on myself, I'm also working on my business through that. But at the same time, this has just been definitely the toughest year in my entrepreneurial journey, because it's just been more focused on the internal work and less on the business itself. So watching the business not necessarily grow as much as it could have if I was like purely prioritizing that, that was difficult for me, because I'm such a growth-minded person. I want to see everything increase, everything go up in all aspects of life, but that's not necessarily the way that life works. So I give myself peace and know that like I've had to go through everything I've gone through this year and focus on me a little bit more. But yeah, that's been the hardest part. Oh, I like this question. So High and Healed asked, do you feel that your videos portray your values? What are your updated values? Love, love, love this question. I feel like I need to check out my videos. But I'll share off the top of my mind like what I feel my current values are. Definitely connection, authenticity, communication, being real with myself, like being transparent and genuine with how I'm feeling and what I'm going through, and not tucking things away. So like openness, like just truth, basically, like seeking and pursuing the truth in every way, shape, or form, honoring what feels right for me and inviting everyone else to do the same. That is kind of like a bubble of my current values. So yeah, very much so like in the emotional, energetic realm of just like, let's be real, like let's be so real in every way, shape, and form, and let's not be afraid to go deep and open up. I think opening and expanding is definitely, those are like core values right now. Next question is by Allysun98, and she asked, how do you balance work and social life? I'd say most days like 90% of the time, I'm stopping work around 6 p.m. And then from that point on, I am social or spending time with myself. So that's a really clean cutoff for me. I also normally don't start work until like after 9 a.m. So just having those clear boundaries and not really changing that too often. Like every now and then, if I'm super inspired to continue working with something, I might work until like 9 or 10 p.m. But that's kind of on the more rare side because I've just found like I really need those clear boundaries to have that balance always. Next question is by Hope Rianne, and she asked, do you miss being vegan? Do I miss being vegan? I would say no. I mean, like, there's so many parts about my past that are bittersweet. Like, I think about Hawaii. I think about my fridge used to be filled with kale and vegetables, and it was so, like, green and colorful. I think about, my life in Hawaii, or just so many different things have shifted in my life. I wouldn't say I necessarily, like, hardcore miss any of it and feel that I'm lacking those things now. I would just say it's more bittersweet. Like, I appreciate every aspect of my past and what it taught me, what I learned from it, and just what it felt like to be in that, like, season of life. But I'd say I don't, like, miss it. Okay, next question is by Trisha Nutrition, and they asked, can you tell us more about your time at the IIN and if it still helps you now? So IIN, for anyone who's not familiar, is the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. This is a online health coaching certification program that I went through probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and it definitely shaped what I'm doing today. It was my permission slip to stop with school that didn't feel aligned and start pursuing an online certification in health coaching, which just kind of, was like the gateway to everything that I'm doing now, going through my own health journey, being able to support others on their journey. There's so much that I've learned from it, and I have a lot of information on my website about it, so I don't want to go into heaps of detail right now, but I'll link it down below, and you can just learn more about my whole experience with IIN and how it's impacted my life. Next question is, what time do you like to get up in the morning during this season of life? And this is by You Deserve Everything. I love that username. What time? I've been waking up between like 8 and 10 a.m. during this season of life, which is probably the latest I've ever woken up. Maybe in college I woke up during a certain semester that late, but yeah, that has been my time frame. Sometimes I'll wake up earlier, just depends on when I'm getting to sleep, but yeah, I've been going to bed later at like 10 p.m. to midnight and waking up around 8 to 10. Okay, next question is by Mick Jade, and they asked, what have you learned about yourself throughout your current relationship? So much. I have learned so much about myself through my current relationship with Luke. I would say the thing that comes to mind first is that I had kind of always, or at least recently, like thought of myself as somebody who communicates really clearly and openly, and through this relationship I've learned that I actually have so much room to grow in that regard. Not to say that I am not open, but I've just recognized that it's actually challenging for me to be totally transparent without having people ask me certain questions. I think like when people ask me questions, it makes me feel safe and like they really want to know more. But I've just been learning to kind of lean into sharing what I'm feeling and going through and just what I want to share without being asked. And yeah, that's something that I just didn't know that I was uncomfortable with, and now I do, and it's something that I'm actively working on. Okay, last question I'm going to answer in this video is by Elite AF Fitness, and they asked, how are you doing? Like, for reals. For reals with a Z. First of all, I just want to say thank you for asking that question. I remember when I was on Instagram scrolling through all the questions that were asked to me in the last couple of days, and I remember reading that question and just feeling like, thank you for asking, thank you for caring, thank you for wondering. I am doing well. I feel the most me that I've ever been. I feel the most whole. I feel the most safe in my relationship. I feel the most cared for by my friends. I feel like so healthy and good and well-rounded and balanced in so many ways. But at the same time, there's definitely a lot going on under the surface that I'm like, I don't know, I guess the way that I visualize it is like there's a lot underneath the carpet, and I kind of like open it up and like deal with some things, navigate it, put it back down, open it up, deal with some things at like on my own time. And yeah, that's just the reality. There's definitely a lot going on, a lot of backlog from my childhood and things that I'm navigating, but I am actively pursuing lots of growth in that regard. So I'm doing really well, but also just working through. Okay, my loves, that is going to wrap up this little life update Q&A video. I know that there's a lot of the topics that I just answered questions on that I can for sure go into way more detail on, but I wanted to just have this be like a concise life update. If there are any particular topics that I talked about today or that I didn't talk about today that you would like me to share more about in future videos, just feel free to share that in the comments down below. I do my best to read as many of your comments as possible. And yeah, I want to hear what you want to hear about, and I'm excited to just open up more, be more transparent, share more vlogs, more sit-down videos like this, and just reconnect with you on a deeper level. So thank you so much for watching this video and being here with me. Please give it a thumbs up if you love Q&A videos, and I will see you in the next one.